Wagwan, are you there? What's good? And you know who this is, baby. The number one podcast in America, dedicated to all you kings and queens of color, homies and homettes, shotters, woo gals, G-boys, and charges. The one and only Jerk Jollof and Collard Greens podcast.
Wagwan, are you there? What's good? And welcome to the Jerk Jollof and Collard Greens podcast, the multi-ethnic panel podcast that leaves nothing off the table. And if this is your first time listening, be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at JJC Podcast to learn more about the pod, the crew, and our following. I'm your host, Glenn, aka Gene Ransom, and I'm joined by none other than the best starting five in the industry, including myself, the JJC panel. Go ahead, fellas, and introduce yourselves to the group, starting in no particular order. Anyone that feels froggy, go ahead and start the intros.
What's good? What's good? D Black in the building. And you know, if we're gonna be the starting five, you know I gotta be the one. I'm just saying.
What, Shaq? Shaquille O'Neal?
Damn, not the number one. It's basketball references, so I gotta be the one. I gotta be the point guard.
You're the point guard.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm the two then. I'll be the shooting guard. It's your boy, Franchise, Francis. Was good.
You get more buckets too, so it makes sense for you to be the two.
You know, I'm the natural shooter of the group, so it's only right that I'm playing the two. So thank you. I'll take that role with pride.
Starting center, Dre, hailing from currently Los Angeles, getting all the boards, blocks, enforcing the paint.
Hey,
also goes Wilds.
I know who the power forward is.
Right.
What number would that be?
He's like,
You can be whatever number you want. This ain't football.
No.
like position.
Oh, you're the four. You're the four. Sorry,
You're number four.
I was like all types of confused. I was like, whatever number I want. I picked 99.
1.5.
Hey, what up? What's good? Like, subscribe, notification button, whatever else you got to hit to make sure that you remember to listen to us all the time, every week, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, but just not Monday.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I'm the most basketball illiterate person here. I don't know what position I would be.
You'll be number three.
Technically, bro. Yes, by default, but I mean, I would think whoever's the moderator is the point guard. Is kind of controlling the tempo. Is kind of like assisting people. You know, technically, I think Glenn should be the point guard because he is the moderator. He's setting people up.
Let me have this.
He's calling out plays.
Let me have this.
I do agree with that, Dre. I do agree with that, Dre. I think
you moderate an episode. Until you moderate the episode, you can't be officially.
Damn, I just got relegated to the bench, like right.
No, I think you could be like a three who kind of is a point guard, but
not really.
Yeah, I think my cousin is.
You're the three coming off the bench.
Damn.
Wow.
He said we're gonna run the court with four.
Exactly.
Sean can say I chose violence today. You chose violence, bro.
I choose violence.
Oh, I haven't cursed yet, so we're good.
Boy, that is true. Yes.
Great segue.
Wait for it.
Great segue into our topic today, because on today's episode it's titled "Dating Games and the Men Who Play Them." But before we get into the actual topic, you know we got to do our wake up. And today's Black business shout out goes to Dragon Walk Chinese Dining and Delivery Takeout, which is actually a Black-owned Chinese and Cambodian dining establishment serving the 55409 Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the surrounding areas. Currently available for dining and takeout. And this is actually pretty astonishing because you don't really see Black-owned Chinese establishments. Like, they've pretty much taken over all of our markets, but to actually see like a Black-owned Chinese, that's amazing. I think, France, you've actually tried them.
Oh yeah, man! Like every time I have people over at the crib or doing like a little family get together, always got to do like a little cater out, get their food. People love it. You know, the food is amazing. If you live in Minneapolis, and haven't tried Dragon Walk, definitely give them a shot. Give them a try out. I'd fully recommend them, and yeah, for sure. That's family right there.
Bad. So you can definitely check them out at www.dragonwalkdelivery.com, and they're also on Instagram at dragonwalkmpls. And definitely go ahead and check them out. And judging by the reviews on Yelp, they are apparently very delicious, and the pictures look really good too. So, well, apart from that, let's do our little general discussion, and that's also a part of our wake up. And as you guys already know, rapper DMX was reported to be in grave condition following a drug overdose that occurred a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I'm thinking about it. Like DMX was probably "As Dark and Hell Is Hot" was probably the first rap album I've ever bought, like in my life. Like at 13, I don't know how I was able to buy a rap album with that kind of content at 13, but I found a way. And he's always been like one of my favorite artists. And I know he's always had a drug problem, but to get to this point, it doesn't sound like he'll be in really good condition at all.
You know what I heard that the craziest thing about, and I don't know how true this is, because things go all over the internet, but basically, like his whole drug problem actually started with one of his friends like lacing his weed. Yeah. I'm like, with crack. I'm like, what kind of homie is that? That's messed up.
Crazy.
It's not. He's like
I didn't even know that story. That's crazy.
Yeah, they laced it and it would crack, and that's what messed him up. He's just been in that same path ever since, man. That's kind of sad,
Yeah, I'm hoping for a speedy recovery. Hopefully, we don't ultimately lose him. I know that he was kind of, especially in the last couple of years, he's really been kind of like doing more stuff. Supposedly he's back in the studio with Swiss Beats, and so hopefully he pulls through. It was really kind of heartwarming to see like all the Rough Riders showing up outside of the hospital where he's at. So yeah, I'm hoping that he'll make it through.
Do you guys remember when he was supposed to fight Zimmerman?
It's
like
yeah, that was
they were actually setting up like a fight between him and George Zimmerman, and I was like, yo, that would probably be the most hilarious thing to ever see in my life. But,
oh my gosh, man,
funny.
all these like celebrity fights, man, they need to calm down with that stuff. What's it? Mayweather and
one of the Logans
and the
Pauls. Logan Paul.
Is it Logan Paul or Jake Paul? One of the Pauls.
I don't know the difference between those two guys. Like literally, they're the same person. I know there's two different people. But just for whatever reason in my head, they are one person.
I think Logan is the oldest one, right?
Yeah, he's older.
And Paul is the younger. Is the one that
they're both Paul. Paul's the last name.
They're both Paul.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
They're both Jake.
Yeah, I called them the Logans not too long ago. So
yeah. That's
Logan
the right way to do it.
And Jack or Jake or whatever.
Yeah. Jake Paul is fighting Ben Askren in April, and I believe Logan Paul is fighting Mayweather in like July or August or something like that.
Yeah, because he just beat up what's his name, Nate Robinson.
Yeah, Jake beat up.
Yeah, I think Jake is the one who's like more of a legit fighter.
Like he's trying to be a fighter. Yeah, he could tell.
Yeah, I think he's like the more trained of the two.
But really, I thought Logan was.
I think the other one was
established.
No, because one of them they fought. Like, mind you, we going into all these social media fighters, but it was like KSI versus Logan Paul was like the big fight. It was last year, and
Logan's more of a YouTuber. I thought.
Yeah.
From what I understand, Jake is supposedly like the more serious of the two fighters. Like I've heard people
I guess that
talk about how he's always in the gym and supposedly he's the more serious of the two. But
it's kind of like when you win at something for the first time, it's going all good. You are fighting good, but until you take that L is when we're gonna find out if this dude really has what it takes. And when he loses to an actual fighter, like come on, Nate. I think people confuse athleticism with the ability to fight.
Yeah.
Even though athleticism will help you, if you don't know how to fight, I mean, you could be the fittest guy on earth. You might get that rocked. So it's just like,
AKA
boxing is not
one hand. Was it one hand two banger? That's chunky.
Boxing is not like a sport that you just like do.
It was putting people down without a doubt.
Prime example, Chunky with the AKA. We call him one hand two banger because he has one hand, but he's throwing two punches with one hand. The other hand is just for holding you down.
Yeah, but
the other hand was to hold ice cream.
I know Dre was making a point as far as
boxing is not like a a sport that you just like do, right? Like, you know, basketball, like, yeah, we could all just like go to a basketball court and, you know, put up some shots or whatever. But boxing is not one of those sports that you just kind of wake up and just.
I mean, what about slap boxing? Right? That was
I never played with the slap boxing game, man. I was one of those people who because to me, I couldn't understand how people would just it's funny you slap me in my face, like like no, like we gotta fight, like, you know, there's no like
it does get personal after a while.
I don't play that. I don't play that. Like,
you slap me in my eye, homie. You slap me in my eye, bro.
Dre, like real talk though. When I was in high school, we used to box. One of my buddy and I, and we actually recorded. We have a boxing glove, and we have the face covering as well. So we actually go at it. So you technically could still do it in a safe way.
I mean, what Dre's saying is just like it's not like a pickup sport, right? It's not like
that's more what I mean. No, not
like, you can do it in a more playful way, but yeah, I do agree with that. Yes,
like the guy basically saying that, like calling out whatever one of the Logans, whatever one of the Pauls called out Floyd. It's like Floyd has been someone who's like been fighting since he was a teenager, right? Probably even younger than that. Like, there's no amount of training you can do to prepare to fight a person like that.
Yeah,
right?
I call that smart business.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean,
we know why. I mean, the fight is, you know why he took it. It's a lot of money.
I call that smart business. I'll get my kick for
the
it.
only thing I would say about it,
I don't know if I will. You could die. You could die in the boxing ring.
Yeah, you can.
You get hit the wrong way. You're not prepared. You could get hit. You could die.
I guess, but I'll take my chances.
Oh, all right, man. Okay. I'm gonna have one less cuz.
I'm like, you'll have the financial stimulus, but your social record will be down. You always be known as the guy that got his rocked.
I mean, but like that comes with the territory of boxing, right? So
it goes away after a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think about that. Like, if you're getting paid out, what doesn't matter?
I don't know. Last thing, the only thing I'll just say is that I really hope Mayweather like goes in there and actually, you know, does what he's supposed to do, because if he does anything less, it's automatically going to put a stain on boxing, because it makes boxing look bad. If this dude, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, any Paul, hops in there, no name boxer, and lands like some good shots on Mayweather, that's not going to look good.
Good point.
I mean, but Mayweather's Floyd knows how to not get hit, though.
And that's why I said that's why that makes it even worse, because Floyd knows how not to get hit. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Floyd has been playing this game. He's been making boxing is turning into more of a entertainment, because he did, like, you know, kind of fought the MMA fighter. What's his name again?
McGregor.
Yeah, McGregor. You know, like nobody did that. Like until like now recently, we've seen even Mike Tyson and what's his face? Roy just went at it too. Like it's like, you know, they are trying to make it more of a entertainment and take the seriousness out of it. So I think he would be more of a laughing stock and not really impact his professional record. I don't think it's professional impact on the sport itself. I think now we just know he's just doing this for the money and just
for the clout.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, we'll see what happens whenever that fight launches. I know it got delayed already, and I'm not sure when it's coming out, but other hits and misses from the past week. New York legalized recreational marijuana. So that's 2 states in the mid-Atlantic, you know, that have legalized recreationally. And I know, you know, D, you're probably a little salty right now, but it's okay. You know what I mean?
Glenn, look, happy as hell. Y'all should see this.
I'm nowhere near as salty as you are happy.
Like, yo, it is real. Yeah,
I'm on my way.
I don't know. We're almost there. Like,
well, just make sure, Glenn, that you keep the brownies away from your dad and your family. Like, don't be. Hopefully you implemented some type of like system or special label that you put on place or whatever. But I guess to be serious about it, to be that person, like I'm just glad that potentially less people are now going to be, arrested or get misdemeanors off this stuff. I heard some crazy stat, like in New York City, it was like 80% of all people who got arrested for weed were Black people. It was it was one of those things where I wasn't shocked, but I was shocked. You know, those type of things like you just hear. It's like, yeah, New York City, 80% of the people who got arrested for small minor marijuana offenses were just shockingly Black and brown people. So I'm just glad that potentially less people are going to be put in the system over something that's fairly small, and hopefully they have something in place as well to like all the people who
expunge records.
Either expunge records, or the people who went to jail for small amounts of marijuana that shouldn't have been, so I'm hoping that more stuff will kind of come out as a result of it, but I am happy.
The criminalization is the first step. Yeah, the criminalization is always the first step, and after that, maybe a year or two later, sometimes 3 or 5 years later, they actually set up the statutes or the guidelines for a recreational market. So it's looking like maybe 2022, the first sale of recreational marijuana might happen in New York. So we'll see. Other than that, another gem. I know the basketball fans here, King LeBron is officially starring in the Space Jam. Was it the Legacy trailer? I saw that the other day. It drops like this weekend. And I was like, wow, okay. Like,
the big issue on Space Jam is not that. It's the fact that, what's the name of the bunny? The female bunny.
Lola Bunny.
Lola.
Cap.
All right.
It's Cap. I'm telling you now, it's Cap.
Bruh, they are indirectly body shaming when they changed her, because they made her pretty much no figured. I'll say no anti-figured. She has a negative figure, okay?
So wait, we checking out the bodies of
we can't be sexualizing bunnies.
No, I just
you're mad that they took away some of the titties from her.
Lola Bunny.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm like, they took away her titties, so I didn't
man, they marginalized and suppressed.
She's a bunny.
A bunny.
Yo, wild as hell for that.
I'm telling you, look at it, and that's like the
big
thing.
I mean,
people
I know what you mean.
Wasn't that like a thing? Like, didn't people just like say
upset?
something?
They are upset.
People brought that up.
Like we should be sexualizing a bunny. That's kind of
nobody said we
I thought people were saying
like saying that this is the ideal shape or something. Like
with her having a shape, so then they like gave her no shape at all.
Yeah, they gave her anti-shape. The negative
she's
shape.
a bunny, right? Like she shouldn't
So
have
to me,
a shape like a woman, right?
If they gave her a shape, it doesn't matter. It's a damn cartoon. So it's just like, I don't know why people are complaining about stuff, because it's just like, we're not sexualizing a cartoon. It's just like, if the creators want to draw whatever, cool. You're going for it to see a movie, not to sit there and say, oh, this gives a figure that women can't get to. It's just like, nah.
But I have a question for you. Do bunnies have breasts?
I don't care if they have breasts or not. Like,
well, they don't, right?
So why did her character have to have them in the first place? It's
because she's
weird.
a humanoid.
I don't, like I said, I don't know. I don't care. My thing is this: it's a cartoon, so people just let it go.
I think you know the answer. You just don't want to answer. That's okay.
What's the answer? Like, what do you?
Bunnies don't have breasts.
Okay,
no.
and some bunnies don't have muscles.
And they can't shoot. They
cartoons got these big ass muscles and shit. It don't matter. So it's just like,
and they typically can't afford Red Octobers either, but they got them in the movie. All right then.
I mean, all I gotta say about the movie, I'm not sure. I wasn't impressed. So, but I don't want all the LeBron lovers to come at me. So, but we'll see. I'm still gonna watch it.
I mean, of course you're gonna watch it.
But from just the preview, I wasn't really like jumping off my seat or anything. But
I mean,
it is what it is.
Just go see it.
Yeah, of course, like I said, I would still support it. I'll
just go see it.
So it looks like that might be a hit or miss, but
yes.
I love you.
Wow.
I was like, what's about to happen right now?
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, all right, let's get into the topic, fellas, since we're all warmed up now. So, dating games and the men who play them. So, basically, this is just going to be our opinions. Well, a lot of us aren't in the dating circle anymore. So, I think that kind of qualifies us as a panel. I think with the exception of myself, mine's is, still in the air, but it's going the serious route. But for the most part, this coming from my experiences and just overhearing stories from, like my girls, single friends and things like that, a lot of them have a problem with knowing like, okay, when is a man serious, or when is he like into me, or like, when should I call it quits, right? Like I've been hitting this dude up, he's not getting back, trying to make plans, he's not giving any time. And then on the same end, you have some fellows where they're like, all right, how do I communicate how I really feel about this? When should I, and how can I really go into it? And we were saying some funny comments. So it's just like we figured, let's go ahead and just get the panel started and actually just talk about it. And so the first question I have for you guys, just so everyone knows your credentials, what is your current relationship status? Married, dating, how long? You know, I kind of spoiled it already, but go ahead and just give your own take on that.
I can go first. I am dating my wife. Just for the record, you know, we still have to. I was told a very long time ago by my father that even though you're married, you still have to date your wife and keep her engaged. So all the stuff that you was doing before and going on dates, and you still have to do those things to to maintain a healthy relationship. So I was told that dating does not end once you're married. So I try to keep that approach. So I think that would be my qualifications. I think I've been married for I'm getting in trouble. It'll be 6 years in May.
Okay.
Nice. Wow.
Pretty
Congrats.
substantial. So, I mean, does your wife know that you guys are? I mean, I imagine she probably wouldn't be happy with saying in public, "Yeah, you know, I'm dating. Me and her are dating." You know, it's kind of.
Well, I guess when you say it that way, but yeah. I more mean like the dating aspect of like, you know,
romance, intimacy,
all the romance going out and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
That whole thing of it is like basically just because you're married is not like that. Like you don't have to try anymore. You don't have to.
Right.
I mean, I guess technically you can do that. Probably wouldn't be the smartest thing to do.
Oh, you already got the ring. What do you want?
What else you want from me?
You get my best years, woman. All right, go. So 6 years on Dre's and D. How about you, D Black?
Oh man, we're going towards 2, so it's like 1.5. I am off the market, ladies. Just putting it out there.
Get off me.
1.5 years.
Step off me.
Get off me. I'm
you know what I mean? But yeah, I think Dre made a very good point with the dating thing. It's funny, I don't really think about it like that, but I mean, I do agree that, you know, that you should continue to feed and foster a relationship. I mean, it's an ever-going process. It's like just like you know, you secure the bag, you know, like they say, you know, but you got to keep adding more to that bag, you know, in all aspects of life. So marriage is no difference there. So I'm with it. I get that.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of financing love, you know?
Yeah.
That long-term lease.
I don't know. The way you said that makes it kind of sound.
Yeah, that sounds
unappealing.
That sounds crazy.
That's funny. Well, I guess I can go in here. So I think I'm one of the newer couple here. So me and my wife, we've been married for just a little bit over 1 year, but we've been dating for almost 5+ years. You know, if you ask her, she would tell you we've been dating for 6 years, but I'm always looking at her like, where you get that from? But I do agree with what my cousin and Dre said. Like, you have to consistently, you know, date your wife, and you know, it's a day-to-day growth, man. So like, there's still a lot of things you're still learning about each other on a day-to-day basis, and you have to take the journey together. So I'll let Chunky take the mic.
Cool. Been married for none of your business.
Oh my God.
That's my time. But I agree with everybody else. Like for my wife, I still date her. Whether it's a dinner and a movie at home, whether it's just quality time together, something that we enjoy doing, whether it's watching a Netflix series or just talking or getting to know each other better. You can't let up off the gas after you made it to a certain destination, which is marriage. And you keep pushing forward, because if you're not doing what you're supposed to do at home, then it starts creating problems. Your spouse married you because of what you bring to the table. And when you get married, you're promising to continually provide whichever that may be, whether it's emotional, mental, or spiritual love, you're still doing it. So yeah, even though we are married, we still date. And if someone's like, "Oh, are you two married?" Like, yeah, I'm married and I'm dating, or I'm dating and I'm married. So my damn business. This is how we roll. So it's all about keeping each other happy because it's all about the long haul, right? It's till death do you part, and you have to continually evolve in your marriage. What happened from the day you said I do to the day you have to part will never be the same, and that's the beauty of it, right? You keep finding out more of what you do and don't like, but each person grows in their respective ways. So you respect your partner, you believe in your partner, and you make amazing things happen to have a life full of memories that you can assist other people and then sit down and laugh at yourselves when you have a hard day or hard week.
Girls gonna be like, ooh, Chunky.
Yeah, Chunky with a soliloquy.
You sound like a man.
That's a man. There's a little soliloquy up there.
Keep him.
He's like, keep him.
So wait, I'm just kind of curious because I'm gonna play ignorant because I'm like, I've been dating for I wouldn't say more like courting, but for a year now, year and change, and it's on the serious route. So I'll probably be joining that club with you guys real soon.
Hey.
But apart from that, like, so when you guys say dating in your marriage, like, would you say any of your dates today or anything like the first date when you weren't married to this person, or do you guys like just walk into a bar, act like you don't know each other, and try to pick up
okay, yeah, no. I mean that it's harder. Yeah, it's harder. Yeah, it's a little bit harder to do it that way when like you live together. Right? So it's like unless you're like, oh, you take an Uber to the place and then I'll meet you. I guess that would kind of be like
you never done that.
No, I've never done that. Boring Dre, just like, yeah, let's just go to the restaurant together. Let's not.
You walk in first, then I walk in after you. You got a man?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pick you up at the bar. You know?
I'm your man now.
Like I'm married to you.
No, I mean it is different now because now you can tell her like, babe, you got this, or like depending on what your financial, plans are, or how you guys set that up, you can like tell her like, babe, you got this, or you can comfortably talk about it. Where like on your first date, I think the guy should always kind of pick that up, So yeah, the first date is. And in marriage versus this obviously looks different, but I think like when you like if you have a good date and what happens after that sometimes happens to be the same. I think the outcome could always be the same.
I was thinking about.
Okay.
Wait. Is this a blue gnome alert?
Oh God.
Hey, you know what? Let's keep it real now.
You showed up on the first date with the blue gnome. Like,
we go home and still bang it out. Man. Stop it.
Like I'm open to all things.
Hold on, wait. No? Okay, let me pull up the red gnome for you.
That would be funny though. Like if you show up with a completely different vibe than like your actual first date, like you're just on some ignorant shit, or you're just like start talking to somebody else while she's there.
Wow.
All right, I need to confess a little bit because when me and my girl started dating, I don't know, I was a very different person, and I think it's interesting because, all right, so she kind of approached me first, and I wasn't really interested like that. And I guess it's interesting because I thought she was attractive even when I met her, but it just, I don't know. I guess like some of the females I felt like from that area, I just wasn't really feeling them. And then she also like she was attractive, but she gave off this vibe like she was like conceited and she was kind of into herself. And I was like, I don't be like messing with no chick like that. And that was not her demeanor at all. So it's like I think initially everybody kind of stunts a little bit, you know what I mean? And she was stunting. And because she was stunting, I was like, so I started stunting too, like, get back above me. I ain't about that, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I never stunted. I'm just like, this is me. This is who I am. You don't like me? That's your loss. I'm out the door. And it's been.
I said just that too.
You know what?
Hi, I am man.
You don't like it, you leave.
Pretty much. It wasn't like, I guess it would seem like an a-hole thing, but it's just like,
such a chunky answer.
I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Are we doing this or not? Okay, we're not doing this. That's cool.
And I'm out.
I mean, I got very fortunate with my wife, and she returned the same energy. I was like, "We doing it?" She was like, "No." And I was like, "It's your loss." She was like, "What do you mean it's my loss?" I was like, it's your loss. He's like, no, it's your loss. And I had to sit down and think about it.
Wait, it is my loss.
Like we both losing. We'll be good.
Everybody got to win,
Well,
right?
I think it also depends on, I guess, what stage you are in your life when you met your partner, right? So I would assume that, without giving any details, I think you met your wife when you were younger.
Correct.
Whereas me, I met my wife when I was a little bit older and more established. So it was a little bit more like, I already know who I am as a person. I didn't have to necessarily like, I think I guess it really all depends on like what stage you met your as a partner in, right?
That's a very good point.
Especially if you met him in like college, maybe, or maybe before that, maybe you're like in a different mind, like you're not the same person you were, back then, right? So
I got the same characteristics.
Son.
No, okay.
You got, for some of them, yeah, I agree, but not.
So like that, I'm still base characteristics. Am I the same person when I was in college?
No. D with the spell check.
It's just like I remain true to like,
Grammarly.
If you don't want to deal with it, don't deal with it. But like I said, she returns the same thing, and she said to me one day, "It takes an to know," so I already know what I got myself into. So I don't play games with her. It's like, all right, this is what I'm going through. This is what's happening, and just being just straight up with her, and she's straight up with me, even though it may be hurtful sometimes. But she understands that it's not to intentionally hurt, but it's to provide better information. So
all right, let's go back to speaking on the first date, and let's get to the first question then. Well, the second question. All right, so as a man, which of the following connections do you feel needs to be established first when dating? I'm gonna give you guys a couple options. The physical connection, the emotional connection, the spiritual connection, or the mental connection. And we'll start off with Francis.
Oh, okay. Trying to put me on the spot.
Since you're the newlywed.
I mean, to be honest, man, I think nowadays, it's the physical connection is really what it is. We live in a super superficial society. We have Bumble, we have Tinder, we have all this dating apps, and it's really all based on how you look. And and you swipe right on someone you find attractive based on their physical appearance or the story that they put on their page, but on their profile. But the truth is, it's really all solely based on their looks. I mean, so for me, I think the looks come first, then you build the rest of it. But however, there are situations where you may not find somebody attractive at first, but you actually start having a conversation with them. Then you and the attraction actually do come after that. So like, I think it could happen in all of this different connections.
So which one would
for
you
me,
say?
I would say
first?
Physical is the number one that I would answer for me.
Okay. I mean, how many? Yeah.
I mean, I do have one question though. How do you define like the emotional connection and the mental connection? Because I feel like that kind of overlaps a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
and that's like one of the thoughts that came to mind. But emotional could always be like, emotional intelligence, empathy, sympathizing. Maturity. So things you'll find out, maturity, how the person acts, is another part, how they react to things. Mental connection could just be purely off of conversation, intellect, current events. Does this person, speak 10 different languages? Like things like that would consider like the mental connection. As the conversation develops, you find common ground.
Yeah, and I should say my answer is based on that first date, and into like a marriage and all of that stuff. Then because then it moves away from the physical.
But we're only concerned about the first date. We don't care about.
Yeah, so like the first date, I would say solely on physical.
Yeah, for me, I would probably say mental, only because I'm a little older. So like, Francis, you probably grew up more in this like Tinder, Bumble, like all these different apps to like, meet people or whatever. Whereas, I mean, I'm not that old. I did meet my wife online or whatever, but I feel like when I was meeting my wife, I don't feel like it was as much of I don't think it was as easy to date online as it is now. So to me, it was way more about the mental connection. Obviously, I think the physical connection is probably, for me, what you would have before you get on the first date, probably, right? Like when you're looking at someone's profile, looking at what they're saying. But I would say probably for me, it was more on the mental side, because I said something really slick to my wife in my opening email to her, which I think kind of like sparked her interest in me. And then we talked on the phone. You know, I'm really old school, right? We talked on the phone before we went out on a date, right? And I really enjoyed like her wit and like how she, you know, I just really, you know, I knew there was something about that. So on our first date, I think it, obviously all the physical stuff was there, but to me, I think I would have probably been, it probably wouldn't have been more past the first date if it was purely only physical for me after the first date. So to me, the mental connection, if that's including chemistry and all that other stuff, I think that was what, to me, that's what separated.
You know what a part of the problem might be? No one does blind dates anymore. Like you
exactly.
never ever had like the chance of finding a 50-50 or a 60-40 or 80-20. It's just like nowadays everybody has their stuff posted online. You see everything before you even meet the person.
That's kind of like a good thing, to be honest with you. It's just that you get to assess a person before you go out with like a crazy individual. I was going to say a serial killer in the sense of stabbing a bowl of cereal, because that's what I think in my head, but like
die like a charms.
I think it's a good thing that you're able to see it, but it depends on the maturity of the individual, right?
Right.
So when I met my wife, like, yeah, it was physical. First of all, I ain't having no ugly ass babies. So
straight up. I mean, be real.
I'm not give my offspring a bad hand. So
wow, he said it. He said it. He went.
I mean, but you know, but I appreciate that.
But that's the thing, right? It's like
that's real.
But some people are like that. Like, oh,
that's
you're
real.
an ugly man. You may be funny, but like my kids don't come out ugly AF, and it's just like I ain't about that. So after that, it became into more emotional, right? So can I have a bad day alongside of you? If that can't happen, then this ain't going to go to distance. Sure, you look beautiful, but this doesn't help me when things get real. This doesn't help me when
Chunky, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm going to do this to you. This is first date.
You right. So my bad. I take all my statements back. It's all physical. Next person.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you.
Yo, bag Chucky all the way up, bro. For me, I don't know. And everybody that knows me straight up, you know, like, first of all, I don't even think this would be first date because, all right, like I said, I'm a man. You gotta have it, you know, nice. I'm gonna be honest. That's just who I am, and I feel like everybody should be honest with who they are, what they want, and that's who I am. That's what I want. But so physical is, I feel like, is part of it. And mind you, I'm African, so therefore, you know, I have a lot of options, I should say, when it comes to derrieres. So
you want the big one?
I was waiting for that.
Bompa to bompa, eh?
Yams.
But first date for me, and that's why, like, I was back to my story. So when I first met my wife, again, because of the demeanor that she gave off and the demeanor I gave off, we didn't click. And it's very easy for me to dismiss anyone if I feel like your vibes are off, you know. And it's only until like we actually went on our first date. That's why I would go with mental, which is, it kind of borderlines into spiritual, because I feel like you get to see the soul of a person. But like, I got to see like her mental maturity, who she really is, the things that she thinks about. And then she got an understanding of kind of like the way I think and the way I see the world. And it's like, that's what really made me gravitate towards her. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, she fine and all, but I could have been like, all right, peace, check a deuces. Like, right. There's a lot of beautiful women everywhere. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I guess my question to that is like, especially nowadays, since everything is online, for you to even get the opportunity to even talk to the person, you have to first match. And because everything is super based on attraction, I mean, like how does that work then?
Well, back in our time when we were dating, there was no like real online thing, so we actually had to see the person.
Well, yeah, I guess for like I'm talking about nowadays though, like, because most of the dating is taking place online, right?
Yeah.
But I have a funny story. So my wife finds this really funny to talk about this. But before our first date, I had another first date with someone 2 days before.
Mm-hmm.
Very physically attractive woman, right? But as soon as we went on a date, right? I think on my profile I said I was 6'5", right? I lied. I'm 6'4" and a half, right? Depending on what sneakers I'm wearing. She was like, "You're not 6'5".
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm 6'5", you know, like whatever. Right?
I'll round up if I want.
She kept on bringing it up. Like it was just like the weirdest thing. It was like, and I could understand if maybe it was like I don't want to. I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to shame anyone for being their height, right? But it wasn't like I was like a 5'8" man saying I was 6 feet tall, right? Like
exactly.
I feel
you know what I mean. Like,
not
no offense, you know, whatever. Height is height, right? You can't control it, but like it was just one of those things where she was a beautiful woman, but there was no mental like connection there, right? Like she just it was really off-putting, right? She just kept on making the big. I'm like, yo, let's go to the hardware store right now. Like I was like that serious about it. I was like, yo, let's go to a hardware store right now. Let's get some measuring tape, like because I was just so
like see me the streets.
And I'm like, yo,
had to meet her quota.
I was just like, you want to go back and just go to your house and just get measuring tape?
She just kept on making a big deal about it. It was just such a weird thing to me. So like,
crazy.
That's kind of how I see like the physical thing like can only get you so far, right? So it didn't. So 2 days later, I went on my first date with my wife. And literally, like before the first date was over, we're already planning to like see each other again the next day. Mm-hmm. And while I'm waiting for my now wife, right, on our second date in Central Park, the girl from whatever a couple of nights ago sent me a text message. Was like, "Oh, I want to see you again," and I basically was just like, "No." Like I was just, it was just like I was done. So I don't know. To me,
but then my question to that, what if first date? My bad, Sloth. But what about like you know how people with first dates that everybody is like when you first meet somebody, the jitters and they don't know how to like. Some people are just not good in that situation.
Yeah, that could be the case, but like I feel like.
I don't got nothing
I
else to
feel
talk
like,
to you about.
I feel like if it's
tall.
the right person or whatever, right? Like that, maybe you give them the benefit of the doubt on certain things, but it was just like, you know, like you just get like you said, you're all about vibes, right? I got a terrible vibe from her, and I was just like, if she's gonna be like this about like this, right? Like I could only imagine like when stuff gets serious, like what she's gonna be upset about. So it turned me off, and I don't know. I think it worked out for me. That I think it worked out well.
She set herself up for that one. But I would say like also on like in the physical sense though, like I guess to me like I think to be established, the most important thing to be established first is a physical connection, because I kind of feel like your physical representation kind of matches, you know, it kind of tells how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the situation. So if you're the type of person to come to a date sloppy as heck, then that kind of tells you right there, like, I probably ain't got it all together, or you got some really bad friends or advice on your end, because nobody had let you out the house looking like that. And then even more so now where we can actually post ourselves online for everyone to see, it's kind of like, you don't have to be ratchet when you post, you know what I mean? You can always choose to go whatever the best route is for you, or a more sophisticated or classy route. So it's just like, yeah, like the physical could also encompass, you know, how the nonverbal communication, right? Like, is she smiling when she see you? Are you smiling back? Are you, you know, how you speak, how you move with your hands, and how you gesture? Sometimes, you know, even if someone's like looks at you in disgust, you can kind of see that, and you're like, nah, I ain't even trying to mess with this. So physical, I think, is a lot more than just a person's assets. It's kind of just like, what you do and say shows a representation of who you are too. So. And what you don't say and what you don't do is a representation of who you are.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
We need to be honest with ourselves though, like real, because emotional connection, whether you value emotional connection, spiritual, mental, physical is probably what's going to make the difference between a friend and a partner. Because if you could have emotional, like, I mean, you guys are my brothers. I'm emotionally, spiritual, mentally connected with all of y'all. But I ain't physically attracted to none of y'all. Y'all ugly as hell.
Okay.
Me too. It's okay.
I was going to say, Chunky looks very upset. Chunky looks very upset.
I thought I was his sexual chocolate.
I mean,
so it's your loss, right?
Oh, you're right.
All right, so let's jump into the next one. What are some like telltale signs from dudes that will show that we're not interested in you? Like, nah, you're not the one.
Ghost people. It's not the right thing to do. I'm not gonna say, hey, you said telltale signs.
Yeah,
dudes ghost. I mean, I feel like this is the generation of ghosting. You get like
so immediately unread.
Yo, I mean, for me, it's like if a guy tells you like, you know, I'm not looking for anything serious right now. Just I'm just, trying to find myself, just having
that's
fun.
a good one. That's a good one.
It's like, that is a sign. It's, because we do this, right? When we hear that, we think we can change someone mindset about us.
Who's we?
Like, I'm saying, like, just people in general, like men and women, we do this, right? If we are super interested in someone and they told us, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, and maybe you are. Sometimes we take it upon ourselves, thinking we can change that person to fall in love with us, and we put, and that's where the simp thing comes into play. Then you go all out, sex and good morning babes and all this stuff going. Like you do all, you go all out.
Isn't that playing hard to get though?
Nah, I mean, but like,
oh my gosh, I hate
trying to like convince them, like, you know what? I know you want to date me. Come on. But like I'm saying, like that is one thing, because what happens most of the time is we end up getting hurt. So I would say, do not do that to yourself.
But that's not that person's fault. That's your fault.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It is your fault. So that's what I'm saying. When somebody tell you that, listen to them. Don't go for it.
Don't waste. Value your time. That's all I can say. Yep. Someone tells you they just out to have fun. If you're not out to have fun, then don't engage in it.
Right.
If you tell them, like, I'm not with that. I'm just not. Like, I'm a straightforward person. If I don't want to talk to you, I'm done talking to you. Why? Here's the reason why. To be straightforward with you, because I know how it felt to be dragged in the mud for something. So why would I want to do that to somebody else? But there are some people that just do it for fun. But you can't sit here and be a part of that cycle where it's done to you multiple times because you chose to engage in that. Then you start doing it to other people who are serious about you. There are some people out there like, oh, I'm looking for the right person. The right person's right in front of them. And they pass them up. Oh, they're too nice to me. Oh, they opened the door for me. They paid for my meal. Why can't you be an asshole to me? Well, is this not what you want? And then when you get an asshole, it's like, they're assholes. All men are effed up.
Wait. No, you never said, yeah, I'm interested, just for some yams that night?
I would be honest. Like, if I want yams, it's like, listen, I want yams. So this is what we're going to do. If you don't want to give me yams at the end of the night, then I'm not gonna, like, I think we talked about this offline in the sense that it's not good to go in to have an expectation, right? Because that messes up everything. If you're telling me from the door, I'm just trying to go to the movies, have dinner, and go home, then my expectations, have movies, go to dinner, go home. If that ends up changing in that person's mind, cool. But at the end of the night, I'm dropping you off your doorstep, I'm going home. And then call someone else to get yams. You know what I mean?
My man.
All right.
At least you kept the real.
I'm gonna make a confession. This is killing me because I'm definitely gonna be falling into the light skin category, man.
Hey.
I'm a lover boy, man. If I like you, I'm telling you, I'm not playing no games. I'm
on the first date
to find your love. On the first date, whatever. I'm jump all the way in. Like, if I like you, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna call you. Yeah, call me whatever you want. But that's always been my approach. So I can't speak for other men, but just me personally, if I like you, I'm letting you know. There's not gonna be no question on like, does he like me? Is he wanting? I'm like, I like you. I like you. Yeah. I want to be. I like you,
and I want you.
And I want you.
I'm very, very like completely transparent. To me, it's just always been easier to take that approach, right? Because I wouldn't like if someone wasn't like very transparent with me, if they like me, and I'm not saying like we got to marry each other right away, but just let me know that you're interested in going on another date with me, right? Like, to me, that's what I would want from someone. So like, that's what I've always provided. Now it's definitely given me, my wife always makes fun of me about it. Like, oh, you was always in a relationship. Like, you was always with somebody. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, look, man. Like,
relationship man.
Yeah, I'm missing. Now I had
when my powers combined, there is love in the air.
I had every intention.
It all makes
to not
sense
be.
now.
I had every intention to not be this relationship, man.
Wow.
I mean, but
my wife
it's all good though.
I think
I'm not sad about it. I'm just saying. So that was my convention.
So my only so actually Dre actually kind of partially related to like with the question I'm going to ask. So basically, I feel like a lot of women, and this is me generalizing, just going socially based on, specifically based on, you know, the women that I interact with, you know, my sisters, you know, friends, whatever, they feel like men in general, like we play too many games, right? That we not direct and then we kind of like lead them on and all this, whatever. Here's the thing. Me personally, I feel like as we mature, we become more and more direct. Like we basically say what we really, really want. And if you don't interpret it as what we want, you know, then it kind of falls back on you. Right. But I mean, when we were all younger, maybe like high school, maybe like late college, everybody was still trying to figure out yourself. So in my opinion, I feel like, you know, it's not necessarily games, but you really don't know what you want. You know what I mean? So you're still trying to figure it out. Right. The question is basically, do y'all agree with that? Do y'all feel like, you know, now, like men, like when we want something, we're pretty much direct. Like, this is what we want. This is how we want it. We don't really kind of sugarcoat it. Or are dudes still out here like, yeah, I want to be your boyfriend, even though they just want to smash?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the issue, though. That's the issue where women do fall prey into men nowadays, because a lot of men, you know, tell them one thing and then they're doing the same thing with like 3-4 other girls, and then they end up hurting all of them. You know, so it's like, so we have to, and even though like people are lying too, men are lying, women are lying, everybody lying, you know, it's like
a lion or lying?
Liars.
We're gonna be a mighty king.
Liars, bro. It just everyone's lying, liars, man. It's like women.
But don't you also have those women? Like I've experienced a lot in my time. Women that I would tell, like, I wouldn't go on a date if I wasn't interested, right? A lot of dudes will say that because they're just not attracted to the person anymore. They're like, I'm not attracted to you at all. I didn't know you was looking like this. I didn't do that like this. I'm not looking to date, even though you're on a date. So the woman right at that point is already confused. Like, wait, you came on the date and now you don't want to date? Like, what's good? But a lot of my times I ran into circumstances where, like, I would tell the person, hey, look, I'm not looking to pursue a relationship. You know, we can hang out, we can have fun, but end of the day, I'm not looking to pursue one. We have our little fun, and then it's just like, all right, she's thinking that she can train me to want to be in the relationship now. When I break things off, it's kind of like, all right, you know, you got to stop because you're getting too invested. I'm the asshole now, even though I said I'm not looking to do anything.
But it goes back to the point that we made, right? So you have to be aware of yourself. So if someone tells you that, take heed to that warning. No one wants to be the villain. So if I try to break it off and then you don't like it, some people try to break it off in a way where they still can save face and nothing negatively can be said about them. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you got to break it off, break it off. So if you're extending it weeks down the line, you're only making it worse. So when you tell someone, I'm just looking to get some booty, then that's it. Let's just understand that. If you tell someone, I just want to go to the movies with somebody, I want to have dinner with someone just for the conversation with the opposite sex. We're not having sex tonight. We're not doing anything else after this. I just want to have this night to enjoy this with you. And then that's it.
I think a lot of the problem is
like, I bid you a good day, sir. That's
like a lot of women overestimate their box. I think all women think their box is the ish, right? So they're just like,
well, hold on. To be fair, every man also thinks that they lay it down too. You know, so
yeah, but I
think that is fairly even. The only thing I'll say, just to put on the cape for women, right? I guess I'll be the person, right? It could be that some of those women, Glenn, like maybe at the time, like thought they were gonna be okay with it, but maybe you was just such a cool dude, right? Maybe you were just.
I wouldn't gas him like that.
They were. Well, I'm a gas. I
mean, I got stories.
I'm a gas you king. Yeah, with the rubber waistline and all that stuff. You know, maybe she at the start of it was like, yeah, maybe I'm cool with this, but then just people catch feelings, right? So
that's what happened.
I think sometimes it's not always. I think there are some people. I think there are some people who like maybe go into a relationship, and I'll say on both sides, right? I won't even say men or women who may at the start of it think, oh, like this person doesn't want to be in a relationship, but I think I can change them, right? Exactly. But I think there's also other people too who are just like, yeah, okay, I'm cool with it. But then, you catch feelings, right? Like to me, I would assume anyone who you're spending your time with, Glenn's gonna be like, yo, this is amazing dude. I really like him. I want to spend more time with him. I don't want there to be any other people with him, right? To me,
but then that's not his fault. That's what catch feelings.
That's not his fault. That's not his fault.
And that's the point.
But we have to be honest that, especially when you
hold on,
especially when you enjoy. No. I'm not saying he's not being honest. I 100%. I know Glenn is being 100% honest, and I feel like he wouldn't have no problem, like, being very upfront about it. But I'm just saying that feelings change, and when you involve sex,
right,
sometimes things change, right? Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't.
It goes in the opposite direction. If you don't lay it down right, just like, nah, this is not what I want.
I mean, like, yo, like real talk. When my wife and I first started dating, because I wasn't looking for a relationship, and she wasn't looking for a relationship. So we thought we were just kind of just having fun. And later, we both developed this stronger feelings. And, we got to the point where we started, like, she asked me the question, so what are we? What are we doing? It's like that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who words. It happens a lot. What are we? Like,
it's like, I am pregnant, and what are we doing?
Damn. Not those two together.
Bro, yeah.
Like, I'm late.
Dre's example is such, like, that is really how it happens. I feel like most of the time, because all of my single friends, like, that I know, unfortunately, most of my guy friends are still single, and they share all the stories with me all the time. And I've seen it. I've been with them where, like, they tell the girls, like, I'm not looking for nothing serious. The girls stick around, and they end up getting hurt and it's like, he told you what he's not looking for now.
That goes on both sides, right? I think that's just a human trait. So I'm just gonna flatline it in that sense. So I'm not on the side like men this, women that. It's just all being a human being, period. Like Dre was saying, you spend a significant amount of time with someone and it's fun time, you're going to want more of that. Mm-hmm. And that's realistically no one's fault. That's just how we are created. That's just how our chemistry is just set up. If you're spending time with someone you don't like, you're not going to keep going back trying to talk to that person. This just be realistic. And if someone's genuinely a good, funny, and interesting person, you're going to want more than a friendship from them. And you can lie to me, I don't care. But we've all been in that situation where we try to talk to someone that we've genuinely found interesting. It went one way or the other, and it may not have worked out, and you felt hurt because you invested time in someone and didn't return it back to you.
Exactly.
So before I sit here and say something stupid or anyone say something like way left field, I just say let's just be honest, because it's just a human trait, and it's okay. It's okay to get hurt and learn from that experience. Not go and abuse somebody else because the person that you wanted to talk to didn't treat you correctly. I just don't like that.
I do think men do have a responsibility though, right? Like, hold on. Yes,
2021. Everybody want equality.
Yeah. Let me talk my shit right now. But you know what I mean? Like, so to me, like, yes. I'll just use Glenn as an example, right? Because he's the only one not married, but obviously he's in a serious relationship. So they're not trying to incriminate him or do anything.
Relationship. They had to make that clear.
All I'm saying is, right, like, you can't, as being the, like, I'm just going to talk about from a stereotypical man-woman relationship. As the man, right, you know that you can't sleep with a woman a bunch of times and then, why does she want to be in a relationship? Why is this like, you can't do that? That's not being honest with yourself. So
I mean, I get it.
I'm just saying. I just think that men do
make
that.
it clear.
I know,
like, I don't want to do
but you
this.
Could say that. But you could say that. But you know that you can say. You know what?
All right, I'm gonna counter.
I want to ask you a question, but I don't want to get you in trouble.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, chill.
No, ask the question.
Let me counter.
I wonder because go ahead.
Let me counter Dre.
I want to ask him a question so bad. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and then if you're okay with me asking it, I'm gonna ask it. But I'm gonna put it in the chat.
All right, I'm gonna counter Dre because the only thing is just that in the sense of it goes back to the maturity and the mental part, right? Because if we're all on the same level and we're all like, cognizant, we're like, we're adults going into a relationship, and I'm saying, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me.
All right. So
never mind.
The anecdotal. So the question Dre had for me was,
oh my God.
Do you tell women you love them while smashing? All right. So
that is funny. Oh my god, I'm dying.
I really can't recall. I probably would say some sarcasm.
Oh, he said he can't
But
recall.
I honestly,
I mean, yes.
I mean, sometimes it could be that I love you in this moment.
You can't not
Oh,
heat of the
you
moment.
cannot say that, bro.
Heat
Like,
of the moment.
It's
Rule
really the
number
moment.
one.
Time out. So
not-
D Black,
do not
defend
do
that. Defend that. If you
No.
told a woman you
But-
don't want to be in a relationship, but you smashed her, you tell her you love her, why you having sex?
No, you can't do
and then
that, bro.
and then you're so shocked that she's wanting to be with you.
In the heat of the
Dre,
moment?
Yes or no?
I'm with you on this one, Dre. No,
You gotta be held
No,
accountable
no,
for what
in the
you
heat
you
of
say.
can't do that,
no,
bro.
no, in the heat of the moment, no.
Yeah, you say some stupid shit in the heat of the moment.
In the
sometimes,
heat of
you
the
know what I mean?
moment, get out of here.
Nah.
Okay.
I don't know about that,
All right,
bro.
all right. I'll give you. You can say that
Because
but then
she
you can
follows it up with
understand.
a,
But
she
then you
follows
can
it up with a
understand why
serious
she's upset.
conversation afterwards, and you'd be like, okay, you said this, whatever. Like, did your emotions change? That's where maturity comes in. Like, you got I feel like
I'm just saying, as the man, we just have to be very mindful of.
and I
When
agree.
you say I
to
love
be very
you,
manful
you
of that.
confuse then that's when you kind of start introducing
No, and
external
that's
factors
why
into
I
Yeah.
love somebody and not want to be with them, though.
No, I agree with Dre to
well,
the sense that
now
But
you're
that's not the
trying-
case
You
here.
can't be
That's not
telling
the case
somebody
here.
I love you and not
You
want
just
to be
trying
in
to
a
make it
committed
sound good.
relationship
Come
with
on
them.
now.
So if I understand,
I agree with Dre to a sense that
Yeah.
we do need that men we hold a little bit of ownership,
wait,
Right.
but but here's the thing, it's just that if you and that ownership comes with honesty though, like yeah, and honesty is a big part of it, but you can't expect other people to hold the emotional bag for you. If I'm saying that this is who I am, this is what I am, this is how I roll, and even if I show you little bits of things there that maybe like that might be different, but every single time we sit down to talk about it, I always revert back to, okay, but I'm not trying to bag you, you know.
Yeah,
And
but
then,
I don't think everybody does that. So
But then
I know what
yeah.
you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think a lot of people.
But
do
then
that.
my only problem is that if when things go awry, at the end of the day, don't look. I'm not with a man or woman, whoever. Don't look at that person and then start badmouthing them. or
Exactly.
whatever.
That's
like
the
they're
issue right there.
trash because
Exactly.
they don't want to
That's-
be with me, whatever.
I mean, but that's like
It's
I
not-
said,
that's the point.
It's
let's move
just
to the next
how
question. after
humans,
this.
Okay.
how humans are, right? I have to defend myself in the sense that how am I going to deflect my emotions? So I'm going to downplay you and who you are to make what happened seem a little bit better and more digestible. Once again, for me, even playing field goes for women too. If a woman's smashing a dude and she says that she loves him, and it's one of those dudes that's like, no offense to my cousin Dre, like oh, she love me.
Don't
She
tell
love
me you
me.
love me. Don't tell me you
And
love
it's
me.
just like,
Don't
and they do the
that.
same thing. Like, oh, I
Like
was in the
saying,
heat of the
man,
moment.
don't tell
Like,
him that.
it felt good. Let's just do it again. That's just how I feel for those 30 seconds. So, like I said, it's equal across the board. I don't think it's a female. Sorry, I don't think it's a woman man thing. I believe it's just a human thing. And we've been heartbroken before, and maybe some of us talk trash about the woman that broke our hearts for us to get through it. Maybe we didn't, but everyone has a responsibility to just be forthcoming. If you want to play those games and you meet someone that plays the same games, you can't get mad at the person who's treating you the same way you're treating them.
Facts.
Just accept what you're doing for what it is, and just not say or paint a different story than what it's not meant to be.
Gotcha. So it's like, all right, if I do this again, no, I'm not doing it again. But if it happened again, or for the guys out there that are listening, don't get caught in the Selassie trap. When you smashing, don't go all the way. Give them like 50% smash. Give them the 50% power level. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? You gotta start loving
What kind of advice is that?
Yeah, what you
Like,
mean?
let's make it sloppy as
What you
hell.
mean?
Make sure you pull out.
smash.
Like, what kind of advice is this?
Y'all never went
No.
50% on a
No,
box.
you got to
like,
give them the rigid waistline. You can't give
Yeah.
them
The rigid got it. The rigid.
Yeah, the rigid.
All I gotta say,
waistline,
you
not
can
the-
you can smash without saying I love you, bro. I mean, like to my cousin, just be honest and men does it, women does it too. It's not just a man focused conversation, because there are also men on the opposite side who also struggle with women playing games as well. So it's like it's not really it's the one gender. It's not
but those aren't the
excluded
people
from
for
the
you.
conversation.
But those aren't the
Exactly.
people for
Yeah.
you.
Just take it
that's
like
the
that
point.
and
And
move on. Not to the point
Yeah,
where
it's all about phase, you know.
Yeah.
There's
Everybody-
a phase just want to
everybody-
smash everybody, and there's a phase you want to be in a
Most
relationship.
people
Or
think they can change
hear me
people.
out. Hear me out. You can just get a blue gnome and everything is good to go.
Wow. Oh, God. All right. On to the next.
On to the next.
I know. So, all right. So, everybody out there, ladies, not all of your boxes are on honor roll. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
damn.
Remember
That's what he took away from this.
And dudes, go 50%. Don't go all the way if you're not serious.
Some dudes, your dick ain't all that. So
you know from experience.
Oh my God.
Oh well.
Oh, he said, "Oh well." Is that a yes or no? All right, on to the next.
You want to? Listen.
Next question.
You gotta say that for episode 20. You gotta say that for episode 20.
Here.
Episode 20.
Hear me out.
20. You can tell that.
Hear me out. Listen. Hear me out. Hear me out. So.
Oh God.
Next question.
They don't want to hear about that. All right, so since we're on the topic of sex, then, from a male perspective, and from your experiences, does sex on the first date increase the chance of a prospect relationship or like a long-term relationship or any commitment if a woman gives it to you or you guys agree to have sex on the first date?
Nope. I mean, like, I feel like we are, adults now. We are grown. I mean, my thing is, if you're feeling frisky, let's get freaky. Like, it's like what, it's like we are. If the date went to, if we had a good date, and we decide to go back to your crib or my crib or wherever, and adult activity happened, who am I? I'm not gonna hold you to that. If the relationship leads to that like next phase.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to be honest, for me, like, when I was dating, if I was interested in you, like like maybe a relationship phase, I would prefer for you to like keep me guessing, but still show me enough for me to know that you are interested. I don't need you to tell me that you're interested. At least give me a little something for that first date, but we don't have to go all the way. But so I mean, that's just for me though. I mean, you can like keep me guessing.
I'll take a hand job.
Yeah.
Where's the popcorn?
I'm saying
a hand job is fine.
I'm saying when I was dating, like that was my mentality, because it does kind of influence the way you think about it, about the female. Sometimes you're like, well, you should have sex with me now. Like, I wonder how many guys she does that way on the first date. But what I'm saying as an adult though, like, you can't. I mean, it's like talking about how many people you had sex with your partners. Like, who cares? Like, that happened in the past.
Sex
like
on the first date.
I know. Like, I know. What I'm saying,
that should never come up. You should.
I know that's how we don't talk. Exactly. That's my point. It's like, who cares? Like, as an older adult, we don't. That conversation doesn't matter.
All right, let's go to 25-year-old Francis. Wait. With sex on the first date.
35, yeah.
D-Black, you listening?
Let's go to 22-year-old Francis. That was like last year. I know. He's talking like he's 40.
Stop it.
So Shorty says that she's feeling me. I'm like, yeah. Shorty says she's coming home with me. I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah? I'm gonna let you finish that.
I forgot the rest of the song.
Oh my God!
You too old for that, man. Come on.
I literally forgot the song. He threw me a layup.
So in other words, yes, Chunky. If you have sex on the first night, you're probably gonna bag that.
Oh, so he said she really feeling me. I'm like, yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Moment's gone. We're done with it.
Back to the bench.
No, so I agree with Francis in the sense that we're adults. If you take someone home on the first date, you do whatever. I don't think it increases or lower chances. That's just being an adult.
Right.
What really increases and lowers chances is, what am I actually doing with this person? If I text them the next day after smashing, do they respond? If we don't smash and I text them the next day, do they respond? We go out on the next date and we have our conversation. How are we having this conversation? If I go out to hang out with their friends, how are their friends treating me? How are my friends treating them? I may not have the average perspective, but that's the things that is a thought. And if they're bringing you around their family, then you may be the one at that point, maybe not even smashing. Maybe there's something about you and your character that's just like, you're completely different from most people that I've dated. And you're a rare find, so I want to hold on to it and make something out of it. Then that gets put on your shoulders to make that decision there. Because everyone knows it when they see it. If you're being brought around someone's family, that means it's starting to get serious, whether it's the second or third time. So you have to make that judgment call. Like, this is not what I want to do. I know where you're headed. I don't want to go there as of yet. We need to take a step back. And everyone's concerned about hurting the other person's feelings, but it hurts worse in the long run than it does up front. So do it early, say something sooner. You may end up having a better situation later.
Stop, drop, and roll. I like the stop, drop, and roll.
Roll out the door.
So in short, you smashed on the first date and you bagged it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong, man.
Here's my all right. So on my take,
you're like insinuating. It's just like
it is what it is.
Gas on the flame.
Nothing wrong.
All right, but my take is first of all, when you go on this date, like I said, you have a mindset of already what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking for somebody to be serious with, you're looking for somebody to be serious with. If you're looking for somebody, you know, just to go have fun with, you already know that's what you're looking for. So, you know, if she's down or she's not down, you know, that's really, it really doesn't impact, you know, how the overall, you know, the overall date's gonna go. Because you already have in your mind, like, I'm looking at this person from a serious perspective. So if they want to lay down first date, then so be it. If they don't, then they don't. But I think also the second part of that is women that I think this is also kind of like a big social stigma, you know, like, oh, women should lay down, like whatever. At the end of the day, women are human beings too. They have desires just like men, you know, and women shouldn't be ashamed, you know, that they have the same desires as men, because some women just want to smash too. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we're human beings, we're sexual creatures. That's who we are. And we try to act like we're not, whatever. But the only thing I'll just say is just that don't play games with it. You know what I mean? I feel like don't make it into like this, like if a woman wants to wait a day to get to know you a little bit, or even a dude, sometimes some dudes want to wait too. That's fine. But don't turn it into like a rat race where it's like chasing to get the prize. Because the thing is that if the person is really just about the physical, when they eventually get that physical, they're going to be out regardless. So if you making them wait, I'm going to wait to the 10th date before he get the box or before she get this magic stick. Like, okay, maybe they're willing to wait, maybe they're not. But if that's what they're really about, they're going to be out after the 10th date. So you're not saving face by making anybody wait. That's all I'm saying.
It's a good point, because a lot of people will say, because then at the same time, it's like, why don't they consider that, I'll just wait until I get the box and then I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Patience. I'll be patient. You know what I mean? So
I get the box from somewhere else.
Yeah, like I do this on the side until number 10, until day 10. I'll do this on the side until day 10.
So that's something to consider. So sex on the first date does not increase the chances of a prospect. It's really up to you. Yeah, that sounds like a fair assessment from everyone right there. So is there such thing then as, I would say, giving too much or investing too much too soon when you're dating or you have a prospect relationship?
My answer is no.
Oh yeah, you know,
remember, I'm Mr.
He's super transparent.
100.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Like I'm all the way in. If you know, if I like you, I'm all the way in, right? So to me, I personally don't. I think it's only probably too much if you're like neglecting other responsibilities, or like if you're not like doing what you're supposed to do, like job wise, or you're ignoring your family. I think maybe that's when you are investing too much. But I've never subscribed to the like, oh, like you get a number, like, and this is just me showing my age, right? Because I'm sure Francis is like, what? You get numbers from people? You don't just like IG DM or whatever, right? But like to me, like
I'm not that young, bro.
Well, you're the youngest in the crew, so you're gonna get these jokes. But yeah, I mean, I was never like that, like, oh, you get the number, you gotta wait like 2 days, or you gotta wait a week to call it. Like I was never that person, right? I got your number, I'm calling you, right? Like I'm just not. So maybe I'm not the perfect
so like if a woman comes in on a date and she's like, oh, I want to get married, like I want to get married, like soon, you know what I mean? That's not too much for some people.
So that probably would have been too much for me, right? Because I actually, I know that I said that, I know that I said like my wife and I will be married in 6 years in May, but I actually took 4 years to propose. Like we didn't get married till we were together for 5. Like we got married on like our 5th year of being together, right? Of our first date or whatever. So I took marriage like very seriously. My parents went through a really ugly, nasty divorce. So I was almost like, we gotta make sure that like we know each other, you know, before. So to me, I probably would be turned off to speaking to that point. Even though I'm like Mr. like I'm gonna jump all the way in, I wasn't jumping all the way in to get married with someone right away.
I mean, but like
I just was really worried about because again, without throwing my parents under the bus, whatever, they were young people, right? But like they had a really bad divorce, right? And put me in the middle of stuff. So I don't have children, but I didn't want to put my children or go through that. I wanted to like make sure that like my wife was the one, make sure that like we were really made for each other and all that stuff. So I took marriage like super serious, almost to where I got the when Francis or Glenn, when you were joking saying like I want to know where this is going, like 4 years serious, like I got that conversation with my wife like 3 years in, like I need to know where this relationship is going. Are we going to get married? Are we going to, you know, she was really upset. She was really hot with me about that, and I told her, I was just like, look, it's going to happen, but I got to be ready, right? There was stuff I was working on, and I just wanted to make sure.
My only question is, why is that conversation so taboo? Because I'm not saying like, if like even on the first date, say first date, and it's like I'm saying that I ultimately want to get married at some point. Just by confessing that, it literally is like you lose points or something.
It's not. I don't think it's taboo. It's just that it shows your level of maturity and confidence and comfortability. So if
it's taboo.
If a woman comes out, I don't think it's taboo.
You can't tell me I'm gonna get married in a year.
So
like,
here's my thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is my perspective, and I don't give a damn how you feel about it. So
Of course it does.
if a woman comes out and says, I want to get married, bottom line, you need to own up. Are you good or are you not doing it? You can say, okay, good idea. Just not right now. Let's see where things go. But if you're not mature enough to really handle that quote unquote taboo question, then get the fuck up and leave.
But then that's the point, is that a lot of people look like the way you, okay, so prime example, like you just worded that question and you're like, oh, okay. But people look at things in the context of like now or in the next few years.
So,
or
once
recently.
again, maturity, right? So you have to be able to sit there, analyze the question, and give feedback. How many people can get to?
Yo, I just want to.
I think it's more than maturity.
I just want to get to know you. Let's keep it.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
But
you can get
approach,
to know. But prime example, like hear me out. So like prime example, like you go into your industry and you have an idea of what your ultimate goal is. You go to undergrad and you know, like, okay, I want to graduate with this degree and get to this career. You're talking about years down the line, but you still have a path of where you want to get to. Does it mean it will deviate? No. Yes, maybe so. But if your ultimate, and that's the part, and that's why I say it is taboo, because once you say marriage on the first date, people are automatically thinking that, oh, this person must be super clingy, or this person is like trying to get married tomorrow. Like, what if my goal is to get married in like,
but like, it doesn't matter. Like, my goal is to have a house.
And that's what.
You're thinking about too much.
And that's what I'm saying.
Well,
and that's a good example.
From a direct person, you're being direct to me, which I respect. Period.
But then outside of you,
like, that's it. But I'm speaking about the direct people, right? So you're right in your opinion. Don't get me wrong.
All right, but I'm just saying that there are some direct people. I don't think you speak for all direct people, because there are some direct people that will take that as a direct statement, like you're trying to get married.
But then again, once again, it's just like if it was posed to me, like, I want to get married. Okay, when do you want to get married? Within the next couple of years.
Yeah, don't waste how many kids you want. Like,
or what about?
I'll let you have the floor, right?
Okay, go ahead.
He has a point to make.
Shut up, I'm talking. So my point to make is that we all have our individual perspectives on this. I don't think it's taboo. I don't think it's a problem being straightforward. That person is just being honest with you, like, I plan on getting married. How you respond to that is on you. How you look at the response to that, it's when and why do you feel this way? Because once you break it down, it may be something a lot more complicated than just that simple statement. Maybe that person is tired of going on dates and people wasting their time.
Yeah,
So
I'm not saying it's
going to be attrition.
That's a valid point.
Are you down or are you not down? You're not down? Okay, cool.
So what if she
Get a
says,
check, I'm outta
I
here.
want to have 2 kids, like now. Like I want children now.
Okay, see, and that's the key word there. The now, then I understand
Yeah.
having some apprehension.
And the children piece makes it even that much more. The children piece, I actually even understand more with women being upfront, especially as we all get older, right? Like we could potentially have kids for a very long time, right? But women, it is what do they call it? The window
biological
or
clock.
whatever. Yeah, the biological clock is ticking. All those different phrases that they have. For women, it's like a very finite time, and especially once they get over 32, there's like a really sharp decline on how many eggs they have left and all that stuff, right? So I could understand how someone would want to be very kind of transparent about that up front, but I could also understand from like a man perspective, like hearing that and getting scared about it. Like I agree with you, Chunky, but I could also understand the flip side of that, right? Someone hearing that and thinking like, oh, she's trying to marry me like in a year, because she wants to get married in a year and we're dating, so that means she wants to get married to me in a year. I don't know about that, right? Or like she says she wants to have kids in 2 years, right? Like, oh, if we're dating, so
that means I have to have 2 years.
Like,
2 years?
I can understand how people can make those leaps. Maybe I wouldn't make it, but I can understand.
But then you find that correct person that's able to handle that. So you kind of you shorten up that time to find the quote unquote right one or the best match for you. And that just may be their way of approaching the situation. So that's why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, because that's how my lens views it. This person's like, I know where I want to be at this point. I'm not there yet. Are you willing to take it to this level or are you not? Instead of just asking you, because if I ask you, hey, do you want to do this or do that? You can just sit there and say, well, yeah, maybe. But if I ask you or tell you I want to get married right now, that kind of puts you on a spot to make you respond to it. So it's just a more direct way of getting what they need.
So I guess you could look at it in a way too, where it's like, all right, like you don't want to necessarily meet someone that's jumping the gun either, but it's kind of like, all right, we could talk about children and stuff like that, but how do you even know that this is the person you want? Like, I think it's safer to just not mention it and then let the natural course of the discussion happen, because on the date, if it's going the way it should, you're going to start talking about what your plans are, what do you see for yourself. So it's just safer not to mention it off the bat and let the natural course of discussion take its place and you guys mention it, then I bet you could talk about what's your timeline looking like, but not the first thing you hop on the date with. Nah.
I mean, it's safer just not to say I love you while you're having sex and you really don't mean it.
I could love the moment that I'm in. You know what I mean?
I love the moment.
So I always playing chess, man. You playing chess when they playing checkers, man. Come on, man.
Crazy.
I just gotta say, like, I think there are some things that you could say, on the first date, but there are also like, more like traumatic experiences. Like some of those heavier even topics, I think can be too much on a first date for someone. And, if someone like, deal with like depression, stuff like that, I think it may be too much for the person you went on that first date with, and you may scare that person away. But to Chunky point too, it is a good way to kind of weed people out, so I guess if you just want to put it all on the table and just say, you know what, if you can't handle it, get out. So I know I'm not wasting no time with you. So I guess
sitting at many tables.
I know. So
I mean, but
if she doesn't have the patience,
he or she,
right?
He or
she,
of course.
If she's not patient enough
as
the, and she's not going to question herself, then if she has that personality, then I would say do not do it. But if you have the chunky personality, then go ahead and do you.
So I guess speaking on forward women, then is it at any point wrong for a woman to instead approach the man? Like usually it's said that the man needs to be the one to approach and take the first step, but that could be kind of hard for some of us. Like I remember being traumatized during my high school years to want to even step up to someone. It wasn't until afterwards I was just like, you know what, I ain't gonna get no, I'm not gonna be able to have fun unless I do what I need to do. So at any point, is it wrong for a woman to then approach a man? And if so, or what's your thoughts? And does it at all impact the expectations or I guess course of the relationship?
I'm gonna be the first one. Put it out there. No, equal opportunity. Approach you want to approach. Get what you want to get. How you want to get it. All I have to say on that.
100%. Yeah, I also echo that. I mean, if you like someone, definitely share that information with them, because you may not know like if they share the same feelings. I know sometimes what we feel, sometimes we question if we fit their image or if we think they like us, And if you don't ever go up to them and actually talk to them about it, you never find out, So I definitely would say approach when you're interested and let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely echo that. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be my wife if she didn't approach me. So, and just how my nature is, I've never been one to really approach women like that, just because, I don't know, just not my demeanor, I guess. It's like, takes a lot for me to actually approach a woman. But if a woman approaches me, it kind of, in my mind, gives me that message that she's mature, that she knows what she wants, and then she's actually seriously looking at me. So then it kind of allows me to open up the conversation more. So, I mean, I'm all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say just unless you're one of those dudes where that is super important to you, if that is super important to you, then yeah, maybe that's not. I know there are some men who are just super traditional and like, oh, that means she's talking to everybody like that, or
Oh my God.
I personally would like it. I like aggressive women, personally. But,
you're here.
You like finger?
Let me know.
Got a whole bunch of gnomes all over the place.
Yeah. Let me know. Come up and say what up to me. Buy me a drink. Men
like to feel special too.
Yeah, we like to be loved too, man. Yeah, we need love too.
Yeah, prop me up on your lap.
Don't question yourself. Go up to that man. Go up to that man, sis.
Oh God.
For real, if you like him, approach him.
Approach him. Show your thoughts, girl.
Tell him how you real feel.
Oh gosh, it don't mean you thirsty.
Send him some money on the Cash App. Let him know what's up. Send him a couple dollars.
Let him know it's real.
Don't send money on the Cash App to someone you don't know, because
imagine that's a pickup line. Hey, what's your Cash App?
They'll be like, whoa.
Yo, I swear to God, I remember after college, I found out like a couple girls like me, and then they never told you. I was like, God, man,
it's a waste of time.
It's like, why you don't tell me now? Like,
I mean, unfortunately, men we're just a little bit slow sometimes too. This is how we are.
A little.
They were like, you were like, I thought you were cocky. I was like, what? I was so insecure.
I am looking at me.
I am.
Why is she looking at me like that?
Like,
I definitely had those moments where she's just staring. I'm like, was she staring at like, what's something wrong with me? Like, I'm looking at myself trying to expect.
Is there a booger on my face?
She's just staring. I'm like, oh.
I mean, you might as well pick it while you're standing there. Forget it.
Hey.
Got to be confident in yourself. Oh, okay.
Hey. All right. So I guess when it comes to dating as well, would any of you guys recommend seeing more than one person at a time? Is there a right way to see more than one person when you're dating?
For me, I mean, one person is just so much work, and I'm gonna be honest. I know. Here's the thing. No. First of all, I think we just hit. First of all, let me clarify, because I feel like everybody wants to preach monogamy, and to each his own, right? If you and because I think what they say, Will and Jada, they got some kind of Oh, is that myth?
We don't know.
It was more propaganda than anything. But yeah,
I
mean, she did get it in.
They seem to be pretty. Yeah, they seem to be pretty open about that. They had an open relationship with like.
I mean, you don't think Will Smith is banging some of the actresses on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's how they. But that's how their relationship works, right? But for me and I'm sorry, my wife makes sure that she's too much to me for me to handle most of the time. She's always a puzzle and a challenge. I love her to death, but she makes sure that there's no point that I can ever think about trying to introduce something else.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like life is too complicated to try to balance 2 sets of emotions, 3 sets of emotions. But then if you're the type of person that you don't really really care about other people's emotions, it's just really about you and what you're getting out of everything, then yeah, you can do it. But if you're a type of person that wants to give what you get, I don't know how you're going to do that with so many people.
My thing is,
it doesn't seem mentally possible.
If you're going to do that, then you got to make it kind of clear at the same time. Like, you're not the only person I'm talking to. But if you don't want to make it clear, you can't be out there slaying everything at the same time and still dating. Like, that's how diseases get passed. It's like,
you can't say I love you while you're smashing.
No, I can't even smash. Don't even.
Can't do that.
Smash. No. If you're gonna see multiple people, you can still date a lot, like 2 or 3 people if you can manage that. So it's not like a job, like Dee's saying. But don't be out there smashing everybody and doing all that. It's gross.
I mean, this is my take on it. If you are single, keyword single, and you're not looking for a relationship, and that's what floats your boat, and you want to talk to Susan and Letitia and
Heavenly
Carrie and
Princess.
and whatever,
Nigerian
and whatever, and
Divine
Shaggy and all of them, Lampoon Cat, and
her name is
all of
Divine
them.
Blessing.
Just hey, bro, do you, or even it could be a guy or a girl, if that's what you want to do, but if you're looking for a relationship though, I would say you should only keep it to one person at a time. But if you're not looking for anything, but to also Glenn's point, I think that's really important. You have to be very clear with your intention, because that is also one of those topics that I think you should have in that first date. What are your intentions? So if you just looking to bang, let them know. If you're looking for a relationship, let them know. So that's my tip.
So at any point, well, I guess that's good points on that as well. So I guess another question here. Would any of you recommend seeing someone outside of your race? I feel like a lot of people are like kind of caught in this web of like Black love and things like that. Not saying that, all right, yeah, definitely you can support Black love, but when it comes to dating, it's important to kind of, get a sense of, if you can, don't eliminate someone purely based on their race alone. I think you're doing yourself a disjustice or injustice by doing so. But I guess, what are you guys' takes on it? Do you think it's like important, or should be considered, or what is the same thing, like whatever floats your boat?
Whatever floats your boat. Date whoever you want to date. Don't believe that you have to stick with a certain race, or don't believe you're wrong for dating another race. It's kind of wrong to tell somebody that you only find love in this one particular area, and that's not the truth. So plain and simple, if that person makes you happy, whether they're Asian, Native American, African American, or even from Mars, date them. You never know what's going to happen, and you'll be happy with yourself, and that's what matters at the end of the day, is how happy you are with the person that you are with, not how someone views your relationship with somebody else.
Yeah. I think to echo off that, I really think that sometimes interracial relationships can be like a taboo thing to some people. I think it's probably mostly taboo when people hear a lot of the, like, just using men example, like, oh, I don't want to date Black women because of whatever these stupid reasons are, right? Or I only date like this one race because they're submissive or whatever. I think that's where it's really problematic. And as someone who, I'm married to a white woman, it's something that I feel like sometimes I have this thing where like I have like a comedian like bit in my head ready to go. Like, I'm not one of those Black men who like only date white women and who think that white women are better than Black women. Like I feel like sometimes I'm like the Black person like pulling back from like a past episode. Like, I got a Black friends. Like I dated Black women before. Like my last girlfriend was Black, right? Before my wife, right? Like I feel like sometimes there is that like pressure of meeting new people to like make it clear that I'm not someone. I ended up with my wife because I ended up with my wife. I didn't like make a choice to say like, oh, I want to date a white woman. Like, it just wasn't, for me, it wasn't a choice, right? I've dated all different types of women. I mean, obviously there are, especially just thinking about Americans, right? There is a certain set of added things that you have to deal with when you're in an interracial relationship, specifically if it's like Black and white, right? Having to deal with their family members, right? Who, you know what I mean? So there is that extra, and not to say that there's other people who don't have those type of things, but there is an added potential of stress or friction that can happen as a result of it. But yeah, I was echoing Chunky, like, date whoever you want to date, right? You could date whoever you want for whatever reason, I guess technically, but just don't shit on other people. I think it's probably my easiest, thing. It's just, if you could date whoever you want, just don't shit on another group of women or another group of people.
My only thing just to add, and just I'll be real brief with mine. Race is also, I mean, it may not come off this way, but I feel like it's also a preference. Like, if you all, I mean, like, just like I said, I like women with a certain, certain characteristics, certain assets, and that doesn't mean that there's not, great people that don't have those assets or that don't fall into those characteristics, but at least I'm honest with myself with what I really want. You know what I mean? And if having someone that's in your culture, of your race, or like if that really holds a lot of value to you, then don't feel like you're wrong because you want to kind of narrow the scope in that way. Nothing wrong. Like, people have height requirements and all these other requirements.
6'5".
Gotta be 6'5", not 6'4.5".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever, like keep your requirement. But with that being said, even though you have those kind of things that you're specifically looking for, still keep your mind open and then understand that there's still a chance that you could meet somebody who may not catch all those characteristics, but again, so when it comes down to the race situation, if ultimately, especially because we have like a lot of different cultures, like, Indian culture, like African culture, like if you want somebody who's really more in your culture, then, and that's for you, there's nothing wrong with going for that. But you might meet, Johnny Must Go, and he might be the person for you too. And,
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely.
I echo what everyone said. Love has no color. So whatever you want is it's all yours. You can have it all.
All right, let's sum it up then. What's some of your key takeaways for all the men and women out there still looking for love? What are some of your like do's and don'ts? Brief points as far as what you should and should not do on those dates to even your chances of finding that one.
My thing is I'm gonna echo this. Be yourself, right? Be honest, right? Be exactly who you are. If you're someone who, if I think you should also treat people how you want to be treated, right? So if you're someone who wants to be, you want the person to know that you want them to tell you that they like you, then you need to be the person to do that too, right? So my whole thing is just be honest, be yourself. And also sometimes you're gonna go on dates with people and they're not gonna be the right one, right? Like you're gonna it's okay, right? Like not every person you're gonna date with is someone who you're meant to be married to, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you could literally just be going on a date with someone excuse me, who you meet, who basically you date for a couple of months, right? Like so I would say just be open, be honest, be yourself, man. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? It's probably better right? Don't have kids, right? Don't have unprotected sex, right? With someone who you're not sure, right? So try to make sure that you're not stuck with the person, right? Don't get married to someone before you're not ready, right? Don't have children with someone before you have really open conversations about what happens if you get pregnant, right? To me, that's a really important thing, especially once you're having sex, is just being like really open and honest about like what happens like if we get pregnant, right?
Like just be sure, I do not want a relationship anymore. Doing this.
Just gotta keep it 1,000. Keep it 1,000. Not keep it 100. Keep it 1,000. Just
this is 50%. I'm giving you. You're getting 50%. All right. So any other takeaways from the group?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say just be yourself. Don't feel bad for the way you love and for some of the requirements that you have, for the quality of men or women that you want in a partner. So and I think I mean like all the guys made some really good point in the conversation today. And ultimately just I think it all comes down to communication, be mature enough with the conversation you have in those dates, and be truthful and be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. So, and I think if you can do all of those items, I think you will be fine, in the dating game. So just have fun with it. If you're not looking for a relationship, have fun. Don't feel bad for the things you do. And if my sister's listening, you can't do anything until you get older, grow up. You can't. None of this applies to you, okay? Just overall, don't tease me with a good time. If you're feeling freaky, let's get freaky.
Put the gnome outside. Gnome outside. You feel me?
I'm buying a blue gnome. I'm sending it to your house, fam. I echo what Dre said, what Francis said. Only thing I have different to add to it, and this is the only point, is treat people the way they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated. The only reason why I say that, there's some things that you may want done to you that someone doesn't like being done to them. So with that honor and respect notion going on, not to take away from Dre, but they may like to be spoken to or treated a certain way, and make sure you treat them that way. And that's it.
I mean, I feel like we're all kind of saying the same thing, but like, again, transparency is key. And I'll just stick on that. Just be transparent, because once you start there, I feel like everything else will kind of fall in place. So be real what you want, be real what you don't want, be real what you like, what you don't like. If you don't like gnomes, tell them you don't like gnomes. If you like gnomes, tell them you like gnomes.
And if he
don't make him figure it out.
If he doesn't call you back, he's not interested. It's really that simple. So
really, yeah.
Don't kill yourself. We don't like to see that.
Yeah.
But I guess that concludes today's joint. So definitely good input for all of these esteemed gentlemen here in the relationship game. You know, we all got our skin in there sometime, somewhere. But other than that, definitely tune in for the outro if you'd like to learn more about how to contact us. Once again, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at JJC Podcast. Until the next episode, stay blessed.
Peace.
Yeah.
And that concludes today's episode, but that doesn't mean the conversation has to end. As a matter of fact, check us out on Instagram or Twitter at JJC Podcast for our post-discussion question. If you're a Black business owner and like to be featured on the show, shoot us an email at jjcpod@gmail.com. Additional details in the description field below. As always, likes, comments, and shares are humbly appreciated. Subscribe to be notified when our next episode releases. But until then, stay blessed. Peace.